Joe Diomede, Telemumbron in Dorset, the wind blowing through the door here in Chickerell. And the map that just fell off in the back is a map of Harry Wiles' recent journey by bicycle. And his journey was about bringing awareness to plastic waste. Wasn't a cyclist of any big caliber before he took off on the trip. And Harry Wiles, thanks for having this interview. And tell us a bit, how did this trip, so we're talking North Cape?
Yep, North Cape, top of Norway, so right down to Tarifa in Spain, so the most northerly tip of Europe to the most southerly point, so across the continent.
For basically a guy who wasn't a cyclist. So Harry, why, how, and when?
So I did it in a way, first of all, I wanted a challenge in life. Most people live their life without taking on any challenges, and they go on and on and on, and just that Monday to Friday kind of life. And then I thought, I'm really passionate about plastic pollution, being a surfer, and all of the plastic in the ocean and stuff. I thought I'd do it for charity and help raise some money to get that plastic out of the ocean and hopefully try and tackle plastic pollution as well. So I did it in aid of Surfers Against Sewage, which are a local charity. But yeah, they were the reasons that I kind of wanted to do such a big task, raise that plastic awareness and just have a trip of a lifetime, really.
Wow. And the bicycle, how did the whole bicycle, I'll hold the map a little as well. How did the bicycle part come into being?
Well, I traveled around Asia for a while, and I did a lot of just backpacking by the buses and stuff, and I felt like I was on holiday, really, rather than having a challenging experience. So my boss, who's done a lot of cycling, kind of inspired me, and I thought, yeah, let's try cycling. Did a bit of cycling around Dorset locally and kind of just got the bug for it.
Cool.
Fell in love with it. And I thought, right, let's just do a big challenge. I was going to do the length of England, but I thought I might get a bit bored, and then I thought, let's do just a big challenge. Let's just go for it. Go for something really out of the ordinary. And I just looked at the map and I thought, well, Europe's pretty close. It's a long way, but I think, yeah, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. So.
And how long was it, and how many days?
So it was 3,550 miles in total, and it took me 36 days on the bike with 3 days off. So 33 days riding and then 3 days off. So.
And what was quite a challenge. That's nearly 100 miles a day on average. Yeah. And what were people's reaction to you? And how did you bring about the conversation of the plastic?
So people's reactions were, they just were gripped on it. People from back home loved it. They just wanted to kind of follow it. I did a daily blog so they could get on social media and just see what I was doing, kind of live the experience themselves, maybe inspire them. Before I went, I did a lot of beach cleans as well on that profile to try and get people in the local area, because even when I go on a dog walk, I'll pick plastic up and so like that. I think the attitude of not my waste, not my problem is not a good attitude to have. Right. You need to look at it and go, okay, that's everybody's problem. It's not my waste. But if no one does anything about it, that's when it becomes the bigger problem. So, yeah, I just tried to promote it on platforms like that to try and inspire people to know about it, maybe be a bit more aware when they go to the supermarket, try and look for the alternative with like fruit and veg, hand soaps, try and buy less plastic. And when I was cycling as well, even up here in the Arctic Circle, I'd like to kind of post stuff to show that there is still plastic on the roads. So you can be in the middle of nowhere, you won't see people for miles and miles and miles and miles, for hours on end, and there's still rubbish on the side of the road and stuff. So.
Wow, amazing. And so at the beginning, you said you just got back 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so I got back to England 2 weeks ago. I had a week off in Spain just to recover.
Nice.
Which is nice. But yeah, it's back to reality now, but I'm already thinking of more trips that I can do and whatnot, and getting back out on the bike and stuff, especially in the local area. Maybe head up to Wales.
And your reality is you're a sail maker.
Yeah, so I'm a sail maker. Well, I work at sail makers. I'm more of a cover maker, upholsterer sort of type thing. Kind of going into the step of making my own bike bags as well with my boss at the moment. So yeah, working on that. We kind of do any fabric work. If it's given to us, we like the challenge, so we just get on with that. But my reality is I do love my job. I do love where I live, all of that sort of thing. So it's not like some people's realities where they go back and think, well, back to hell. It's right. Kind of like going back to heaven. Nice.
So best of both worlds. So you work, and then your boss is pretty open to you disappearing?
you're young, you know, you've got no ties at the moment, no connections that you have to be here for. He said, well, you know, once you get a house and the kids, you can still go and do these trips and stuff, but there is part times where you're going to be, you know, you can't always be away. You know, you've got to save money to bring them up and blah 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 on them sort of things. So he's, yeah, great boss, gives me all the time I want away. Yeah.
And the cyclist as well, your boss.
And he's a cyclist, so he understands, like, he does big trips as well, so he understands that, you know, you've got to get out there and experience it. So.
Cool. So Harry, it sounds like you found that, you love the way you live. You grew up in Weymouth in the area. You got a boss who's a cyclist. Yeah. You love making sales. He lets you go on holidays. Yeah. What could be better than that? The biggest, give me a highlight of the journey.
There was so many. You got to pick them apart now. Excellent. Some highlights were especially here in Spain. Some of the mountains were just, the views were incredible. You do so much climbing, but compared to some of the flats in Germany and stuff that were just field, farms, fields, and nothing to really look at, I didn't mind climbing these thousands and thousands of feet, because you'd just be cycling and looking and thinking, wow, look at that. You'd go around the next bend. Wow, look at that. You know. Yeah, they were kind of the main highlights. Top, just seeing such a different part of the world when you get right up into what would be the Arctic Circle region. Like, yeah, the weather just changes like that all the time. There's reindeer. Like, it's like going back to what I imagine what most of the world used to be like, wild. There's just not much around. So.
Cool. Wow. And on one more point, since we met because of this Give It a Go project with your mom. She's interested. So it's people. So people, we were speaking before, people, they came into your life at the right time. Yeah. And did you feel that on your journey, you were making a lot of connections because you were out there on your bike?
Yeah. So people kind of made the trip as well. If I hadn't spoke to some people, I wouldn't have had the experiences, and I wouldn't have enjoyed some of the parts and had the help that I wanted. So, like, there was a guy that bought me an inner tube, welcomed me into his house. I was ill and managed to fall into place at this homestay, and they looked after me, took me to the doctors. And kind of people go through life thinking, if I don't speak to people and blah, 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 you need to be careful, you need to be wary, they could be dangerous. But usually people are always willing to help the person that comes to them. And sometimes you have them chats and you learn just so many different walks of life. So,
excellent. Well, Harry, thank you very much for sharing that story on many, many levels. It's a beautiful story. You're on your bike, you're loving life, and you're meeting people, and it's really great. That's Harry Wiles with his journey to bring the plastic awareness to people on his bike. Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it, and yeah, it's great to meet you. And learn.
And what's that local charity's website or whatever?
It's Surfers Against Sewage. So they're based in Devon, so a few counties over. It's Devon or Cornwall, but they work all over the country, stopping pollution into the sea, picking up plastic, and they've even moved on to rivers now, as they know that rivers are supplying the sea with a lot of plastic where it all flows in. So yeah, great charity, and they work nationwide. So.
Cool. Excellent. Well, there you go. Joe Diamiti, Telemumbron, saying goodbye to you, Harry, and Surfers Against Sewage. All these creative, positive ways to look at life and change the beautiful planet we're walking on out of the direction it may be headed, and in a good, positive way. Thanks again, Harry.
Thank you.
Bye.